Holy shit.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another fun-filled episode of Left Side, Strong Side on the Notorious by Chance Network. I'm your host, Chance Ellison. Joining me, my two co-hosts, Mike Deacon, and down there, Jacob London. We are here to do a lot of things. We're going to be talking about all the latest news. Been a while since we talked about NFL news. We took a break. Things a little slow. Didn't need to come back week to week, but it's about time for us to come back and compile a bunch of stories as well as do our own mock draft. We're only doing the first round. The draft is next week, starts next Thursday, the 27th. And we'll have an announcement for that later on in the show. But yeah, for right now, we are just going to get into some NFL news. The first of which has to do with one specific team, but has to do with all the teams. It was announced after proposal from the Philadelphia Eagles. Players will now be allowed to wear the number 0 for the first time in, I believe, several decades. I can't remember the last time somebody wore 0 in the NFL. So what do we think of this? Because I know I have a buddy of mine who just he hates this, but he also hated when skill position player had the ability to go single digits. But what do you think about this?
So there are a myriad of problems with the NFL that they could have solved. There was so many things that they needed to address and look at, but instead they went, players can now wear 0. I don't care. It's kind of it's kind of one of those more cool. This sums up the NFL quite perfectly.
Yes.
There is so many other problems, so we're going to go, hey, this is instead the shiny new toy. And that's all it is. It's cool. I don't care. You're able to wear 0. Whatever.
That's my whole thing. I'm just cool. I don't know who gets 0 for my team. I think it's wearing 0 is either going to be a really great thing, or it's going to set up a lot of, I don't know. Does it go the best or the worst player on the team?
I don't get it. I have a number. Have a fucking number.
I don't get it. Hey, we are not going to discriminate against 0. Okay.
Yeah,
There's an entire Schoolhouse Rock song about how 0 is a hero. Okay, we're not going to discriminate against the number 0.
I think it's going to be a lot of punt returners and things of that nature. It's who should get designated with that number, but we'll see.
One of the first players that did get designated with this number was one Mr. Calvin Ridley, who has been officially reinstated by the league. So this is a great get for Jacksonville if he comes back to form.
It's a huge get. And not only that, it's a player who it's a non-injury suspension.
Right.
So if he's been training and has been keeping up healthy,
that's the case.
It's not like he is going to come back and be, oh, my leg is sore. Oh, my ankle's not. You know what I mean? It's not like he's coming back from his 3rd ACL or something. No, he's just been sitting on the sideline training and getting angry. I cannot believe that Falcons gave how little they gave up for Calvin Ridley. How little they got for Calvin Ridley. It was
what did they get? I can't remember.
It was a 2nd or a 3rd. It was nothing.
I think it's a conditional 3rd. I think depending on how much he plays, it can turn into a 2nd.
Because he didn't leave because of an injury. It was mental health that he sat out with to begin with, and then because he technically had that weird retirement, not retirement thing 2 seasons ago.
He did.
So it's a case of if he stays on the field.
I'm trying to pull up. So let's see. Okay, so it's for a conditional 6th rounder this year, and a 2024 4th rounder, and it can be that will the 5th pick went up. Oh, sorry, they get a 5th this year because he got reinstated.
Right. Okay.
And the one in 2024 can become a 2nd or a 3rd if he gets extended.
Okay, that's fair. At that point, you just release him and then you re-sign him. You say, hey, we're technically releasing you, and then we're just going to re-sign you. That's,
He would be on. How does the suspended year affect? Because he was still on his rookie contract, if I'm not mistaken. So how does that affect the option?
He was. I think because like the option year was for his 2021 seasons. No, I'm sorry. No, it was for 2022. I
Yeah.
think theoretically he should still be under option for this year because this is technically his 5th year.
Yeah. Well, that's what they were saying with based on what happened with Watson, that's what would have happened. If Watson was suspended for the full year, that contract doesn't it's just basically a null and void contract for a year. It all moves over to the next year.
Yeah, so essentially that is what it is. Like his 5th year option will be in place for this year. So he is still on his rookie deal.
Mm-hmm. And so he's still on it on a cheap deal, essentially, and he's probably, if he's not the one, he's the 1B on Jacksonville. So that they're going to have a dangerous receiving core this year. They're going to have a dangerous team as a whole, I think, though.
Like if they can improve on last year, they can be a little more consistent than they were last year. I think that was, they got hot at the right time, but they were very inconsistent all season. Yeah. If they can be more consistent, that they got half a shot. They got a real shot later in the of being a really dangerous squad later in the year. Like, I can't look. There are obviously 3 teams to beat in the East right now, and it's potential. So the AFC, it's potentially could be 4 if Rodgers goes to the Jets. We're going to start adding some more there.
We'll get into that in a second.
But like, there is obviously the Chiefs above everyone else.
Right.
Then there's the Bills and the Bengals, and then there's about 4 or 5 teams fighting for that 4th spot.
Mm-hmm.
Jacksonville's got a really good argument to be that 4th team, right?
And they have the clearest path to the playoff spot because their division is going to be weak this year.
Yeah,
they have a clear path to getting, at worst the 4th seed, maybe even higher, because that competition is going to be not there.
Yeah, I mean, realistically, they've got 6 wins, or they're going to enter the season with 6 wins. You would assume.
Yeah,
5-1 at worst.
5-1, I'd say.
5-1 at absolute worst. All right, and then I'm pretty sure the South's got a pretty easy schedule this year. So, yeah.
Jacksonville being a 10 or 11 win team is not out of the question.
It's not.
It really isn't.
It really isn't. But speaking of, you kind of mentioned it. Let's talk about the New York Jets. They did make some more moves after what we talked about. So, one of the first one they did was signing Chiefs wide receiver Mecole Hardman on a 1-year, $4.5 million deal. Mecole Hardman was solid for Kansas City, speedy. He's got good reach, physical. Never like a true number 1, but again for this price, not bad. But Mike, I'll give you credit because you did call what happened next. You said like a lot more trade incoming. Literally like a few hours later, he went straight
less than 2 hours later,
as well as the 3rd round pick for Cleveland's 2nd. So first of all, let's talk about this trade for the Browns. If I'm a Browns fan, I like this trade.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Because again, they didn't like gross overpay Morris on his rookie deal, gives Watson another target, which he desperately needs because Amari Cooper. About it, like DPJ is fine, but I mean Amari Cooper that's basically like the best receiver you got and the only like viable receiver you have. This I think he has potential to be a good receiver. Problem is he just suffered from never being on the same page as quarterbacks,
and he's also a little bit of a diva.
A little bit.
Now
for a receiver is not necessarily always a bad thing,
right? He's gonna be good because they have Cooper outright. Like before last year, the Jets almost like towards the end of the 21 season, he was their number 1. And last year he was arguably should have been their number 2. He really turned into their number 4. But this is a situation where I think it's mutually beneficial for both teams. He went to a good scenario of a team that can utilize his skill set. He's going with, like it or not, an established quarterback. A quarterback, though, who, obviously last year lost a step, but you would assume more is probably going to be playing out of the slot a lot, which, based on the way Watson played last year, he's going to get the ball more out of the slot in Cleveland than he ever did in New York. He should be happier. And for the Jets to recover basically what they got him for originally at this point, because he was a second-round pick, they gave up a third with him. So, yes, they lost a third-round pick. But for them to recover what they recovered for what he turned into, which was a headache, not bad.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, we'll talk about the implications of this trade, because as of today, the Aaron Rodgers deal is still not done. Keep in mind, and the draft is next Thursday, so time is ticking. So I think currently the Jets have 42 and 43. They have 2 seconds back to back, if I'm not mistaken.
That's correct.
So people were saying that this could be leverage to land one Aaron Rodgers.
That's what you would have assumed.
Yeah,
Look,
and I think 2 seconds for Rodgers is very fair.
If I think this feels like I don't think a trade gets done by the draft. I have a feeling we're going to wake up on Friday, your time, Saturday, my time, and Green Bay are going to evaluate roughly who they can get. Because if they're and then they'll be like, all right, we'll do the 2, because then we know the 2 players we can get. We're happy with that, but they want to make sure that they can get the 2 players that they want to get, and that's when they'll do the trade.
No, I agree with you on this, Jacob, because especially with the where they sit, Green Bay is a team that needs a lot. Like they genuinely do need a lot. They can evaluate after that first round. That first round pick, Green Bay. We're going to talk about this later, but Green Bay is like in perfect position, pretty much where they are. Take the best available player in the draft, and then with the second round, start filling in the holes, because they have holes almost everywhere. Getting that trade done on Friday does make a lot of sense to me.
Because not only that, Green Bay then will essentially have 3 picks in 4.
Yep.
Because they go the 2 Jets, Falcons have 1, and then Green Bay have their second. So if they do it, they'll know, okay, we know we can get these 3 players. I think we're happy with that. Once the 13th pick is gone, I think it's going to be a lot more willing to make the trades, because the pick's gone. Now it's this magical pick that they're like, we can maybe get it. You're not getting it for Aaron Rodgers. It's not happening.
No, Green Bay is stupid to think they can get a first for Aaron Rodgers. I love Aaron Rodgers. Just you're not getting a first for a QB who might retire in 2 years.
Exactly.
Maybe 1 year.
Maybe 1 year.
Yeah, he might retire by the end of the year. Like, there is a very real chance if the Jets don't make the playoffs, Rodgers retires. He's done. He'll be like, no, this isn't worth it. I'm done. So yeah, you're not going to get a first for that, especially not the 13th pick. Like, if it was a late round first pick, maybe. Like, if you'd made the playoffs, maybe I could have seen the argument, but not one that's high. Like, we're at that point where it's no. Take the 2. Like, take the 2 on offer. The Jets would be silly to not trade them. If we get to that point and those 2 picks are there, make the trade. That's the trade you make. You just go, here are the 2 picks.
And going with what you're saying about the first round pick, it's 13, but really it's 9. And the reason I say that is because there's 4 quarterbacks that these are not players that the Jets are going to be looking at. So or Green Bay for that matter. So it's hypothetically it's like the 9th pick. And that's not what, at this point in time, especially with the talent that's on the board, you don't trade that for Aaron Rodgers at this particular point, knowing he's only going to be there for a year or 2.
Yeah.
Speaking of which, though, I forgot about this. I do want to make mention of it. Cam Newton's back in the news for several reasons. One, he did say, I love this quote from him. He says, like, there's not 32 motherfuckers in the league who can throw better than me, which he's right. There are at least 40.
Yeah.
I'm with you on that.
He did put out a list of QBs he wants to back up. And this list is fucking insane. Because, here's the list. It's Deshaun Watson, Lamar Jackson, Justin Fields, Tua, Malik Willis, CJ Stroud, Bryce Young, Anthony Richardson, Jalen Hurts, Aaron Rodgers, Josh Allen, and Sam Howell. My favorite thing about this is, it's a bunch of, proven talent and incoming rookies, and then Malik Willis and Sam Howell.
Yeah. I like how, half of them is you will be the backup. The other, and then the other half are, I'm stealing their spot. Like, I'm going there to steal their spot. Like, it's just, yeah. Look, I love Cam Newton. Dude,
Why?
you need, like, no, I love Cam Newton for,
As a
the
dude,
type
yeah.
of player he was.
Yeah, that's fair.
Dude, you passed your prime. You kind of just, like, accept that you're a backup at this point.
His shoulder was like spaghetti 2 years
Yeah.
ago.
Like, you're a backup, and a win over the Cardinals is not the I'm back that it sounds like. Like, yeah.
Oh, that was great. That was great, though. That was great to
That
witness.
was.
Well, for
was.
me, not so much for you, but for me.
No.
Well, and the thing is, almost all of the young quarterbacks that they mentioned, like, went through one of his, like, these are all through.
We're losing you a bit, Mike. All right. Hopefully we can get Mike back. Wait, there we go.
If it happened, because
Nah, we're losing him.
We're losing him again. All right, hold on. I think Mike, you got your back.
Yeah, I'm here. All right, I'll finish my thought. I was gonna say, whatever team takes Anthony Richardson should contemplate as a mentor, because they are going to be such similar style players coming out of college.
That's fair.
Yeah.
But yeah, just want to make mention of that. Up next in the category of contract extensions, Lane Johnson filed an extension. He received an extension from the Philadelphia Eagles, 1 year, $34 million. This extends him through the 2026 season. This is vitally important for another reason that we will get to later in the show. But, I mean, Lane Johnson, one of the best tackles in the game.
No brainer.
And look, he's one of the guys who can get away with a false start on every single snap. So
look, given the big question mark after the Super Bowl was, hey, how many of these players are they going to keep? The Eagles have kept. They've been hurt. Don't get me wrong, but they've kept the main ones. Yeah. Like the ones that you're like you needed to keep. The ones that you went you need to keep them. They've kept them, which is pretty impressive. They might be putting everything on a credit card and praying to God that they can pay it off later. But yeah,
we'll see.
It's kind of working out for them so far. We'll see what happens next year. Like I said, I'm really curious what's going to happen next year when they have a tougher schedule next year. I'm really curious what the Eagles are going to look like.
And they've lost both their coordinators, so we'll see how that goes.
That too.
In the category of signings, Seattle, your boy is back. Bobby Wagner is returning to Seattle on a 1 year, $7 million deal. This comes just 1 year after he was released, signed I thought it was like a 5-year deal with Los Angeles, only to be released a year later, and now he is going to Seattle for like nothing.
I don't know. Like,
I'm surprised he went to Seattle. Like, I feel like he could have gone to like a contender. Like, had he gone to like Buffalo or fucking Philadelphia, who like really needs inside linebacker help.
But they might have. But the problem is, like, he probably went, I'll go back to Seattle. I think this is his last season. I think he acknowledges this is probably his last season. He wants to go back and he wants to go home and retire with them. Like, if another team was going to give him the big ass contract, then maybe he would have gone somewhere else. But I don't think anyone else is willing to give him the big ass contract. So he's like, okay, fine, I'll just go back to Seattle and.
Which is crazy because he was still an All-Pro last year.
Yeah, I know. Like, don't get me wrong, I would have loved him. I would have loved it. We just can't afford it.
That's true.
We've, the Von Miller contract's gonna hurt. It's really gonna hurt this year. And hopefully we can get him back this season. But if we don't, we're in trouble.
Yeah. Also in the realm of extensions, the Tennessee Titans have extended Big Jeff Simmons to a 4-year, $94 million contract with $59 million guaranteed. I personally think he's worth the money. Like he's the best player on that defense. He's going to be an anchor for years to come. Like you build, like that's the kind of guy you build around for the future.
But this is also a team that is clearly about to enter rebuild mode. So for him, obviously him showing loyalty to the team, that's wonderful. If you're a Titans fan, by all means, go buy his jersey. But from a winning perspective, like I don't know.
He's in for a rough couple of years. He's in for a real. I think Titans fans are in for a rough couple of years.
Friendly reminder: Derrick Henry is still here.
I know. Look,
I'm saying that as a fact that like they have not traded for some reason have not traded him.
I think they're asking for too much. Probably. Personally, I think they're asking for too much for him, and I have a feeling. Look, there's going to be a lot of. I kind of have this feeling there's going to be a lot of trades on draft day. I think we're actually going to get, and it's going to be more than there normally is. Like, as in, there's going to be some big names that move on draft day. But I also have a feel like, speaking of the Rams, I think Cup's going on draft day. I think that Derrick Henry's going to go on draft day. I think a lot of these teams are just going to go in the full-blown rebuild mode, especially given next year's draft's pretty decent one.
Yeah.
Where next year is not a bad draft, and they're going to come up in this one and get something for next year. So I think that I wouldn't be surprised if a lot of the NFL looks very different post draft day.
I agree.
Yeah, we'll see how that turns out. But speaking of trades, we have to talk about the Lamar Jackson saga going on right now. So Lamar Jackson put out on his social media that he had requested a trade. Like after being franchise tagged, he requested a trade from the organization on March 1st. As of today, he is still on the roster. Even the Ravens social media team said, like, hey, look, we tried to reach an extension, didn't happen. So yes, we are shopping him around. The whole idea of putting the tag on Lamar was, look, well, you can go feel out your market for other teams, but whatever any teams offers you, we will match it. Yeah. Seems like a weird strategy because I feel like he would choose to go somewhere else at that point.
Likely.
But yeah.
I've always been in Lamar's corner around this. I've been like, no, but after a few of the contracts, I think we're at a point where it's Watson's starting to be the outlier, and you're not, and Watson's contract is.
Here was the thing.
I think everyone in the NFL, every team, every manager has acknowledged that contract was wrong. That was a desperation contract, and no other quarterback is getting to that amount. And the thing that it's going to take is the whole Lamar Jackson saga right now rests on Joe Burrow. Like it honestly does. If the Bengals give Joe Burrow $240 million fully guaranteed, Lamar's getting $240 million fully guaranteed. He probably won't be a Raven. He will probably be somewhere else. If the Bengals give him 180, 190 guaranteed with the potential to make 300 or something, Lamar's not going to be Lamar will not be making 200 plus guaranteed, and if anything, he might not play in the NFL next year. He might not sign the tag, and he might sit out. And everyone keeps like this is starting to feel like Lamar's played his hand. They've called his bluff, and now it's kind of time to pay up, and it's gonna be shit, and it's gonna suck. And yeah, it sucks because I really like Lamar as a player, and I really want to see him play in the NFL. He is he is a top 10 quarterback.
100%.
Maybe 5.
But I think,
but
I think he is really hurting his stock, and I think he's really hurting his prospects going forward because one, I think he needs to get representation tomorrow. Like
100%.
He needs representation.
We'll talk about
And-
another quarterback who got extended that had representation later.
No, and we'll get to that, but like, and that's why I haven't mentioned him yet. But that has an impact, and it's really impacting Lamar. I think the whole thing with his friend, the whole thing with this whole situation that Lamar is putting out on social media and that Lamar is trying to push is not working at all. And it's making him come across as the villain when he's not. He's just trying, it's one player up against billionaires. Like, I get it. He is the underdog in this. But, he's trying to change the market for quarterbacks. It very rarely works out for the person who does change it. Very, very rarely. And I think we could end up losing Lamar Jackson in the league, at least for next year, if he keeps pushing this.
Yeah, the thing I saw about him is the fact that the ridiculous thing that I saw with him is that fact is like he does not that he wants the fully guaranteed contract, he wants more guaranteed money than Watson.
Right.
Yeah.
So not only that, so like he wants like a $300 million contract.
That'll destroy a team.
Guaranteed. I'm like, no team is stupid. Okay, well, one team's stupid enough to do that, but they already played that card.
Yeah.
Nobody's giving $250 million guaranteed to a guy who missed a third of his games in the last 2 years.
Yeah,
and that's
and obviously, I'm sure you're about to bring this up, Chance. They made a move to placate him a little bit, and
people saying like, they say we don't get you help, Lamar. Say we don't get you help. Fine. We got Nelson Aguilar. What are you? $3.25 million.
The sad thing is to that point, there was a argument that he could have been like the wide receiver 2. He honestly could have been in the conversation.
He could have been
wide receiver 2 on that current roster.
No. The real move to try and placate Lamar was the signing of Odell Beckham Jr. Odell, who did have a meeting scheduled with the New York Jets for that Monday, decided, fuck it, we ball, and he decided to sign in Baltimore for, at bare minimum, $15 million.
This is stupid.
This is stupid.
This is the reason. This is the reason he didn't take the Jets contract, because his agent went, no way in hell are you getting this offer anywhere else.
He would have gotten 8 or 9 from the Jets, I think.
Yeah, you would not get stupidity. And that's why he got $15 million.
Funny thing is, like, this is now less money they have to pay Lamar.
Right.
Yeah. No, and but this, I have a feeling it's going to be. Look, I think the Ravens are really banking on getting Lamar for 190. I think they are at that. They're at the point where it's like, we will give you. They might even go 200. They might go, here is the 200, so that you can say you're a $200 million guaranteed player, but it will not be Deshaun Watson's contract. It just no. I don't know if any player will get Deshaun Watson's contract in the next 10 years.
And depending on how Cleveland does, we'll see. Even if Cleveland wins the Super Bowl, it still might not happen.
Yeah, that's where I'm getting. Like, I don't know if anyone is going to be like, we're going to pay $250 million fully guaranteed or partially guaranteed, but plus $250 million plus over 4 years for one player. I don't know if they're going to do it. I unless what's the kid coming through next year? What's his name?
Caleb Williams.
Unless Williams is this generation, and I mean like Mahomes 2.0, like this kid who comes in,
or Arch Manning.
Like unless one of them comes through, wins 1 or 2 Super Bowls within their rookie contract, because that's what it's going to take. It's going to take winning a Super Bowl or 2 within your rookie contract
to get that. Yeah,
and I don't think we're not getting that for 10 years, and within 10 years it will like artificially inflate. But like, yeah, it's just that's where we're at with this, and I think Lamar needs to realize that has a very real chance of ending up like McNeil.
Let me stop you right there. I don't think Lamar needs to realize anything. Lamar, coming from me, what you're doing, keep going.
I will
Just
admit,
keep
though,
pushing it.
I will admit, him to the Patriots is the one that makes me go, that sounds fun.
That doesn't.
That like, oh yeah, no, dude, I don't want it
Not
either.
for you. Not for you.
I don't want it either. But given there is a very, very real chance that division is going to have Aaron Rodgers, Josh Allen, and Tua. They're going to go up with Mac Jones.
Mac Jones. Yep. I'm excited.
Mac Jones.
Dude, yeah. Like, I don't know, guys.
Yeah. Oh, so yeah, we'll keep an eye on that Lamar Jackson saga. God, I hope this goes the way that I want it to. Please, please, for love of God.
Because I want to say, look,
I pray that he's gone.
No, okay. See, here's the thing. I want Lamar Jackson in the league.
I don't want him in the league. Ravens. I just want him out of my division.
Yeah, it doesn't have to be for the Ravens. I want him in the league. The problem is, I don't think he will be next year if he's not on the Ravens. And I think, and that will suck. That will absolutely suck for the league. The NFL will be a worse place if Lamar Jackson is not in the league next year on any team. Like, it won't be as fun.
But hey, at least you got a Pro Bowl quarterback to fall back on. Next piece of news. Cardinals fans, do you want to die yet? Buda Baker has demanded a trade.
Cardinals are a full-blown rebuild.
Yeah, they are. Keep in mind, like, this is a team where, their franchise quarterback, aka overpaid midget, is currently injured. Probably not going to be playing next season. So you know what? Call of Duty stock's going up. Call of Duty stonks up. There you go. JJ Watt retired. DeAndre Hopkins likely gone.
Hopkins will be a Patriot by the end of next week.
Probably. Let's see. What else do we have? Look, I mean, Zach Pascal gone. Any other Valor player is either hurt, likely gone, or in actuality gone. So yeah, the Cardinals are in some trouble.
The Cardinals. Here's what's going to be absolutely not hilarious because it's man, they're in trouble. But next season, there is a very, very real likelihood that they're going to get the number 1 overall pick again next year.
It's likely. It's very likely.
Which means they're going to have the debate. Do we take Caleb Williams or not?
Yeah.
And then they're going to have the debate of, do we take Caleb Williams and then somehow trade Kyler Murray? That a contract no one will take. No one is taking that contract.
Okay, okay. My question for the floor: whose contract is worse, Dak Prescott, Russell Wilson, or Kyler Murray?
Kyler Murray's.
I think Kyler at this point.
Right now, Kyler Murray's. The other two can play.
Yeah, they'll be on the field.
That's true. That is very true. Yeah. Okay, but take the caveat out. Take the caveat that say Kyler Murray can play. Whose contract is worse?
Okay, taking that caveat out, it's between Wilson and Kyler. It's
really because I would say Prescott's the worst contract out of the three of them.
But here's the thing. Going based solely on last season's information, because and that's the thing. If Wilson comes out this year and he plays really well, then obviously it's Kyler's contract's the worst. Because all right, but Dak has a ceiling, but his floor is not as bad as what Wilson and Kyler put on film last year. And that's the problem. That's back
to the issue of Buda Baker right now. So Buda Baker, trying to look at his contract right now, signed a 4-year extension back in 2021. So he's under contract through the 2024 season. He's not super old. He's only 27.
Yeah.
So again, like what are some teams that we think could benefit Buda Baker? Like there are a few in mind that I have. Like one, I think is the Eagles. I think the Eagles could very benefit with the departure of Chauncey Gardner-Johnson. I think the Eagles could very, very well benefit Buda Baker. I would love it if Pittsburgh traded for him. We're just not the kind of team that does moves like that. I would love it if we traded for Buda Baker. I don't think it'll happen, but
look, he'd go for a second. Like I think he'd get a second for it.
Probably.
Like
I don't know if I want to give a second for Buda Baker though.
Sorry.
I don't know if I want to give a second for Buda Baker though.
That's my point. Look, I think if the Cardinals trade him, it's for a second. Like I think that's what they're going to be demanding. I think other teams, like I said, I don't think
the Packers should be in the conversation.
Packers, I think, would be in the conversation.
Maybe the Raiders.
I think the Lions potentially as well.
That's true.
I think teams that are. I think also it would absolutely be an NFC team because this year we're going to see a lot of NFC teams go all in because it's so barren. And they're just like, all we need is to just win 7 games and we can make the fucking playoffs. So,
yeah,
like, that's, I think, where we're going to see a lot of teams really going all in on this. Fuck, the way the Saints are going, they'll probably fucking trade for him, and that makes no sense whatsoever. But the way they're going, like, hey, we can still win a Super Bowl. You can't, but okay.
Yeah. Now we gotta look to the south. Speaking of the NFC, we gotta look to the south of the NFC because there's one team that is making a surprising amount of moves. It's the Atlanta Falcons. One of which is they signed defensive tackle Calais Campbell to a 1-year, $7 million deal. I think that's a fair price. Calais Campbell still got a lot of gas in the tank.
I was surprised at the destination though. Like I thought he was going to go to a contender.
I did too. The other move they made was trading the Detroit Lions a 5th-round pick for Jeff Okudah. Jeff Okudah, a guy who was the 3rd overall pick of the 2020 draft. Keep in mind, at the time, the AJ Terrell, who has been killing it in recent years, was drafted 13 picks after Jeff Okudah.
Well, Okudah was being like, at the time coming out of college, he was the second coming of Revis.
He was.
And he just never panned out.
He did not pan out in Detroit. Maybe the change of scenery helps him, but like I said, I liked Jeff Okudah in college. I think Jeff Okudah I don't think he's like cemented himself like the biggest bust conversation, but he's definitely like in like the upper echelon of like 21st century busts.
Yeah, he'd be up there. Like, well, he was
Zach Wilson's number 1, but
I mean, 21st century. I don't even think Zach Wilson's like top 10.
Oh, he would have to be near the top 10.
I mean, he's close, but like top 10 for the whole century since the year 2000.
Since the year 2000, yeah.
He's got to be. He'll be in the conversation for top 10, but I don't think it's that easy. Maybe for you, Mike, because you're like the entire city of New York, the entire state of New Jersey, ready to crucify this man. But I don't think it's that easy. Point is, Jeff Okudah, like a guy who, like, when you take a corner 3rd overall, you got to be like upper echelon talent.
You got to be the man.
And he just was not in Detroit.
Well, just compare him to both of the two that went 3 and 4 this year, which were Stingley and Gardner. The two of them both lived up to it. And Stingley got like forgotten about because of Gardner. Stingley had one hell of a rookie season. People are like overlooking him big time. Like I get it, yes, because Gardner was there, but look at those two compared to Okudah. Okudah was supposed to be better than both of them, and this is
like my whole thing with evaluating drafts. Like my metric is like, at bare minimum, you have to at least fulfill your rookie contract. Like that's why someone like Baker Mayfield to me is not a bust because like he fulfilled his rookie obligation at the very least. So like Jeff Okudah, like you're trading him after 3 seasons, just like that's just not a good sign.
100%. Okudah,
but
this is a young team too, though. Like he's getting a fresh start. Atlanta is, they're not in the first stage of the rebuild because they pretty much acknowledged that last year, but they're moving in a different direction. I think it was a smart move all around. Detroit being able to get anything for him.
Yeah. And look, if they can unlock that talent that he showed, that the potential that he has, him and AJ Terrell could be like a premier cornerback duo in the NFL.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. And also
Yeah.
depends on, coordinators are important. Like, and again, and and not only that, who was his head coach in 2020? Like, that's the most important year as a rookie.
Right.
Who was his head coach? Like, there's so yeah.
So yeah, we'll see how it goes under Arthur Smith and company. One of the big stories that came out 2 days ago, we knew it was going to happen. We didn't know it'd be this magnitude, but it did happen. I'm happy for him. Jalen Hurts has been extended by the Philadelphia Eagles, 5 years, $255 million, with $179 million fully guaranteed. This, if you look at a per year average, this makes Jalen Hurts the highest paid player in NFL history.
I mean, look, it was coming. You make the Super Bowl. You do Look, here's it lined up absolutely perfect for Jalen. Probably a little tougher for the Eagles because I reckon the Eagles wanted one more year. I think if you sat them down, they would say we want one more year because, like, they probably would have done. They may have done this contract, but they probably would have liked one more year. The problem is because he's a second rounder, they don't have the option.
They don't have the option.
They had to get this done. Like there was no choice that you have to do this. They probably had to overpay, I reckon, by about $20 million because there was no option because they really had no choice.
They had no leverage.
So they probably overpaid about $20 million. Given the NFC's how disastrous it is right now, and Jalen would be huge on any other team. You couldn't afford this. So, yeah, I get it. This contract makes 100% sense. You absolutely do this contract, and good on him, Jalen Hurts.
Well, first, let me just say, what a fucking story of Jalen Hurts.
It's a movie in the making.
Yeah, a guy who was he was one of the first like true freshmen to start at Alabama. Mm-hmm. He got benched twice, maybe more times at Alabama. Got ousted from the school. Had to go to Oklahoma to play football for his senior year. Drafted second round as a gadget player.
As a backup
and gadget player.
Yeah.
Then he emerges as this like true like dual threat, legit like top 5 quarterback. It's a massive leap as a starter from one year to the next. Like I have never seen a leap like this in my years of watching football. Like just go from like a guy who I thought Jalen Hurts like he was average at best in 2021. I completely went turncoat on Jalen Hurts. Like a lot of people, like this dude is fucking legit.
Agreed.
But here's the other thing. Look, I don't think it can be underestimated and understated and how important Nick Sirianni has been to Jalen Hurts. And given Nick Sirianni started as the joke, as he's in way over his head. What the hell have the Eagles done? Oh, this was a massive mistake from the Eagles. To we're all sitting here talking, there is a legitimate chance that Nick Sirianni is one of the best coaches in the league right now.
100%.
Like, I don't think Nick Sirianni's impact can be understated, but I also think what Hurts has been able to do, he has taken the opportunity and ran with it, and it has worked absolutely incredibly. And this pay packet is an example of it. And well done, Jalen.
People are going to look at this and say like, "Oh crap, could this be another Carson Wentz?" I don't think so for a couple reasons. One, I never saw Carson Wentz take a leap like Jalen Hurts did from one year to the other. Two, from what I've seen, Jalen Hurts significantly better league than Carson Wentz ever was.
Yeah, that's what you're paying for. That is what you're paying for with the quarterback role and with Jalen Hurts. You're paying for the leadership. Like, take the example of we've seen now where Carson has gone over the last 3 years. He's not a leader at all. He has horrible leadership skills in terms of to be a quarterback. And the other thing is, we've seen Wentz do it several seasons where he's incredible in the regular season, but when the going gets tough, he crumbles. And the problem with the problem with the Carson Wentz contract was they paid him because he was incredible for half a season when he normally is. Then he got injured, and they still went on to win a Super Bowl. And it was like, oh, well, we kind of have to pay you now. Like, well, you didn't, but that's where it all came from. The Hurts has gone in and proven I can make you to a Super Bowl. And honestly, a defensive flag not thrown, they win that Super Bowl.
They win it, yeah.
Hurts was going to go down and win that game. There was absolutely I no doubt in my mind the way they were playing.
And the way Hurts was playing, like I said on a Super Bowl recap, I'll say it again. I think Hurts was arguably the best player on that field in the Super Bowl.
Yeah. If you guys actually gave the MVP to a losing team, which I know you can do, but you don't, he should have been MVP. He was 100%. Freaking incredible. Absolutely incredible in that game. Absolutely would have deserved it. And he has shown in the biggest moment, I will stand up. This is well deserved, absolutely massively deserved contract. We'll see what happens next year with the Eagles. They got a tougher schedule, but still,
I think they can do it. Honestly, I don't think they can go back.
Who else?
If they can get past the Niners, that's it.
Oh, I'm putting the Lions in there as well.
Okay, Lions too.
Yeah, I'm putting the Lions in there as a sneak. They're third. Don't get me wrong, they are third, but
the Lions are dangerous because they're so scrappy and their coach is a crazy man.
No, but that's it. They're that. I have a feeling they're going to be that 3 or 4 seed that everyone's like, you don't want to play them. Like on their day, they will destroy.
I don't know how on Dan Campbell's Super Bowl. I feel like he might eat the trophy before the game starts.
But like, unlike the NBA where it's like, oh, it'll even out because it's a 7-game series, and you can kind of even it out. It being 1 game, you do not want to play those Lions. And look, maybe we'll see.
Speaking of the NBA, RIP the Suns because their game is being refereed by Scott Foster.
Oh, God damn it!
Yeah.
Oh,
Suns about to go 0-2. Anyways, moving on. Next story we're talking about. This actually broke earlier today, and I hope my boy Patrick is still in the chat because I do want to get your take on this. We got news of a trade that made even me go like, wait, what? We got word that the Pittsburgh Steelers are finalizing a deal to acquire wide receiver Allen Robinson from the Los Angeles Rams. Robinson signed a 3-year, $45 million deal with the Rams last offseason. He was one of the big free agent acquisitions they had in order to run it back, which, as we know, resulted in a gigantic disaster. Now here's what I saw some just like, okay. I kind of like this because what was originally reported was that we were going to take 2/3 of his contract and the Rams were going to take the last third to send him over here. I'm like, okay, what's the compensation? When I heard the compensation, that's when I transitioned to I love this trade.
Yeah,
because it turns out no, it was the opposite. Turns out the Rams are paying 2/3 of his contract,
and it's an even swap.
He's owed $15 million. They're paying 10. We pay 5, and we swapped 7s.
That's what I don't get. That's the thing that I don't understand. Is
they moved up 10 spots?
17.
Yeah, like if it was the other way around, I'd maybe understand it. You're trying to get some salary cap saving. Why have the Rams done this? They're in rebuild mode. They are absolutely in rebuild mode right now, clearly. But why would you trade a 7th? If you're like, oh, we'll take the cap because we don't care about this season. We're getting rid of our this season cap means nothing. So we'll kill the cap this year. That's fine. Okay, that makes sense. But get at least I'd say a 5th or a 4th. That to me would have been okay. That makes sense. You're essentially buying a 5th or a 4th pick. That's essentially what you're doing. No, this is
taking him up his contract, and you get a 7th.
This is a bad trade by the Rams.
For Pittsburgh, however, I love this trade.
This is an absolute steal
for several reasons. One, he doesn't have to be the alpha. We got Deontay Johnson. We got George Pickens. We got Calvin Austin, who's coming back from injury. He spent the entire season on the injury reserve last year. He's coming back now. We got that. 2, vet presence in the locker room, which we don't have. I mean, our oldest receiver is Deontay
young,
Johnson, who's
yeah.
only been around since 2018. It's a great upside. We didn't give up that much to get him. It's like, look, if he comes here and he produces, great. If he comes here and he does nothing, we're only out $5 million.
Fine. Yeah, it's not a big signing.
Like, this is the epitome of a low risk, high reward type of signing. Problem. I didn't even want a receiver. I'm happy with this.
So here's the thing, though. The Rams right now, this is the even better part about this. They got rid of Allen Robinson. Currently on their roster, only have Matt Stafford at quarterback. They do not have a place kicker. They do not have a long snapper. And they do not have a punter.
Yeah.
How long until Stafford's traded?
Oh, not long. It shouldn't be long.
Like, in all like, you know, what team? What?
And I will say this is my concern. Like, my concern is not our offensive weapons. My concern is the man calling plays. A guy who would probably try to kill you with a gun by throwing it at you.
But like that, I think is where the Rams are at. Is they need to? They're in full blown rebuild. They are just
beyond tanking. Like
I mean, now's the time to do it where you actually have a first round pick again. For the first time in almost 10 years, you have a first round pick again.
Yeah. So I don't know what they're going to do, but the other big problem they got is, who do you build around? Like, legitimately, it's the Rams right now. Who are you building around? You'd have to keep Kupp and build around him, because you can't build around Stafford.
Kupp's but not exactly like he's been in the league.
How am I going to be there in 4 years?
Yeah.
Like, you don't have anyone to build around. That's the problem. Like,
yeah. So
Aaron Donald probably going to retire in like 2 years.
If I am calling up teams and saying, what do you want for Aaron? What are you willing to give up for Aaron Donald? What are you willing to give up for Kupp? What are you willing to give up for Stafford? Like, Robinson was the first one. That was always the first one. I am shocked it was 7.
They'll get a nice pickup for Kupp. Like
Kupp, they'll get a Kupp. They'll either get a second. They could get a first.
Yeah.
Ramsey was technically the first one. He was the first one out of here.
First one, sorry. Yep, Ramsey was the first one. Like, they could get a first for Kupp if they take on some of the contract. Yes. And that's honestly what it's going to be huge is, hey, we're taking on all of the salary and we're just drafting a bunch of rookies. And it's probably going to cause the NFL to be like, yeah, we're coming up with a rule so that teams can't just do this after they've won a Super Bowl. Because the Rams are going to be a bad team this year. They might go like 3-14.
All right. We have the final thing we're talking about.
Whopper, 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 Junior, Double, Triple, Whopper.
Beelzebub has a
Whopper, Whopper, have it your way, your way, your way. Lettuce, mayo, pickle, Whopper, 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 Junior, Double, Triple, out on this day.
What the fuck was that?
That never gets old, terrorizing Mike with that song. But no, the real last story we're talking about, this is the greatest story of the NFL of the past 20 years. Dan Snyder, the bad man is gone.
Yes.
Dan Snyder has agreed to sell the Washington football team. It's being sold to a group headed up by, I can't remember the guy's name, but it's the guy who owns the Philadelphia 76ers, as well as another team. I'm not sure. What's the other team he owns?
Hang on. Hold, please.
Yeah, okay. Jacob, you fact check that, but yes, it's a group that includes him. Magic Johnson's part of it, so now he's part owner of the Washington football team. So look, Dan Snyder has been far and away the worst owner in the NFL for the past 2 decades.
Maybe
which is saying a lot, considering the Packers don't even have an owner.
Yep.
He owns the New Jersey Devils.
That's it. I'm like, yeah, it's some other. I think it's hockey, right? Yeah, hockey.
Yeah.
But anyways, I think this is great for Washington. This is great for the league. I think that well, first of all, the new owners have a lot to fix. First of which, the Sean Taylor statue. That should be
Yeah.
priority one.
Then the field.
Secondly, fix the field. Fix the stadium. Shit, blow the stadium up.
That many stadium.
I don't care.
I think they're going to lobby and they're going to get a new stadium. Like I think
They need a new stadium.
there's going to be a new stadium built. It might look. What I'm most curious about is what's the big move that they do as a new owner right at the start.
See, the big move for them would be to get a franchise quarterback in one Lamar Jackson.
See, that's my thought. Is that the big move they make where they're the one? Like, I honestly thought there was a chance Dan Snyder could do it as a final FU. Like, hey, FU, I'm going to now make, because if Lamar gets a fully guaranteed contract, they're now standard. That's now standard. Like, that is two quarterbacks who have had it. It is now, and then Burrow can argue, I want a fully guaranteed contract. Like, and if I really thought Dan Snyder might have done it as a final FU to the other owners because he didn't want to sell and he's practically forced to. But we could see the new group come in as a fully guaranteed and be like, all right, we're making the big move because we want Lamar Jackson.
I can see it happening, but like either way, this is great. This is fantastic news. I don't care what it costs to get him out of there. Just get him out for the good of football and the good of the damn good culture. Get him out.
Yeah. No, it's good. $6 billion though. Jesus.
Yeah.
For like $6 billion for, it's actually kind of nuts because you pay $6 billion for a franchise that cannot use its actual name, like what the brand is known for. It doesn't use anymore. That has an awful reputation, that has been playing terribly, and doesn't have a franchise quarterback. Like, it just more goes to show you how desperate people are to buy teams in the NFL. The NFL should seriously look into expansion right now. Like, you're at a point where that's how desperate people are to get NFL teams. You can seriously expand and actually look at going to a 36. Hell, like I said, you could really, like, over the next 10 years go to a 48.
Yeah.
But
and actually, I lied. There is one more thing I want to talk about because it does speak to some league change. I forgot to put this at the beginning of the show, but what is one thing I want to touch on before we get into the actual mock draft? The NFL is introducing new rules that will allow them to flex teams into Thursday night.
It's terrible for the teams.
This is disastrous. This is just like the Monday one. I could maybe understand. Mondays, I can, if I squint, I can argue it. This one you can't argue. This is terrible. This is a dumb idea. This is Amazon going around, and honestly, I reckon this is Amazon threatening to pull their money.
Yeah,
that's what this was. I think.
Oh yeah, no. Thursday night football was fucking abysmal last season.
Yeah.
So like this is moves like games. We don't want more of this.
Yeah.
So what can we do?
This look, I would have, if I was the league, I would have gone in and done a compromise with Amazon and said, okay, we will guarantee you one of, and given them the playoff teams and said, we will guarantee you one playoff team from last, like each week, a playoff team from last year plays. That's, there's 12 teams. You guarantee that gives you 12 weeks. And
14. That gives you 14 weeks.
14, that gives you 14 weeks.
14 out of 16 that they get it. So yeah,
they get 16. So you got to come up with 2 more games. Like that would have been my compromise of like, you will guaranteed get a playoff team from last year. And that way everyone, you know what I mean? Like, I think that would have been the better compromise. But I think this is just, this is going to cause a lot of problems. I wouldn't be surprised if there is a strike over this. Like, this is the closest you feel. I feel where the Players Association are going to go, nah, this is one step too far, and they're going to strike, or they're going to because this isn't in the contract. This is a rule change. That's like. That's different to when the 17th week was introduced and they had to get it signed off by the Players Association. This is a rule change, and I really think that this could be something that is causing a strike and that they have to abandon.
Yeah, we'll see how that shakes out if it even shakes out. But
Yeah,
that's it for that. Which means we are now going to start our mock draft. This is going to be our official mock draft. What this is, I have a draft board pulled up. We're going to go over the entire first round, only doing the first round, and try and come to consensus of what we think is going to happen. Keep in mind something we're also going to do. Oh, actually, I'll say that for later. All right, so let's see. So like pull up the mock draft. Here we go. All right. How's the view on that? Good.
that's good.
All right, cool.
Yeah.
Perfect. All right, so starting with first overall, Carolina Panthers are on the clock. There's a 0% chance they don't take a quarterback with this spot.
It's Bryce.
No, I think it's CJ.
Okay, so that's what I want to talk about. So again, so Jacob, you think CJ Stroud's going here?
I don't think they're picking Bryce. I think they want. I think they are going to go for CJ Stroud. I really think they're going to go for CJ.
Why? Why do you think so?
I think he fits more within the type of quarterback that, what's his name takes. That
Frank
what's
Reich?
his name? That Frank Reich will work with. I think that's more the mold of what he will want, and I also think there is the championship part of it all. I think that like where he played for Ohio State, I think that is going to come into it.
Well, he didn't make the championship. That was kind of the problem.
No, I know he didn't win it, but yeah.
Well, no, he didn't even make it. They lost the semis.
Oh, okay.
But I get what you mean. It was college football playoffs like that. Like really elevated his draft stock. So,
Yeah.
Mike, you're going Bryce Young.
Well, Bryce like literally came out and canceled all of his other stops. Like he knows something. Like there is very little doubt in my mind. Like Bryce is not. If for whatever reason he does not get taken by Carolina, I don't see this happening. CJ Stroud, if you've been listening lately, there is rumblings that he might not go top 2. So I'm relatively certain on this one, just based on everything I'm seeing with both just what the players are doing and what the teams are doing. This is Bryce Young. I'd be very surprised if it's not Bryce Young.
Okay.
You're both wrong. It's Tanner McKee. No. So here's the thing. Like you asked me this question like several months ago. I think it's Bryce Young with a bullet. Now I'm not so sure. This is the thing. I think that, like I said, the college football playoffs really elevated the draft stock of CJ Stroud. I think people are going to look at that. I think that was a game I saw because like that was a game I saw. People are going to trade up to get CJ Stroud, but I think that people are kind of blind to the fact that like the regular season he was good, but he wasn't like first overall pick good. Like Bryce Young, I think he's NFL ready. He's the most poised passer. He's accurate. He may be a little undersized, but I don't think it's going to scare teams away. I still think Bryce Young goes first overall. So two or three, we're going Bryce Young. Number 1 overall. So number 2, Houston Texans with their first pick are on the clock. This they would have had first overall had they decided to not totally fuck their tank at the very end of the season.
Hilarious.
Still one of the funniest fumbles I've ever seen. But
It's Stroud.
There are
This
rumblings that they might not take a quarterback here.
This is the thing. If that happens, I think they trade the pick. I'd be very, very surprised if they stay put and don't trade this pick because they will get. It's crazy though because the 2 most likely teams are in their division. That would be the ones that would trade with them. That's the craziest part about the whole situation. Unless you have a team like a Washington or Atlanta who is willing to jump up. The 2 most likely teams to jump up are Indianapolis or Tennessee.
Yeah,
and I'd be very surprised to see it happen within the division.
I think that the reason why the reports are that they're not going to take a quarterback is the incentive of, hey, someone come up and grab this pick.
Yeah.
They're trying to see what they could get for it.
Yeah.
Because I reckon they saw what Chicago got and they went, well,
we could do that.
We can get slightly that. Like, won't be as much, but we could get slightly that. Like maybe one less first.
Like let's assume that they stay here for the sake of this.
It's CJ Stroud.
Yeah,
I think it's going QB. I think they're going CJ Stroud.
yeah. If Shroud isn't the first, if Shroud is available, if
They're
Young
1-2.
is first, Shroud is going second.
Yeah, these are 1-2. I'd say very little doubt on that, unless for some reason Houston takes a non-quarterback.
Yeah.
Now, Arizona Cardinals, number 3. First of all,
This
I
is
think
getting
there's
traded.
0% chance they stay here.
This is getting
No,
traded.
this is getting traded.
This is
Absolutely.
getting traded.
This is
But again-
absolutely getting traded. I think it. I think the Falcons are probably the most likely to trade up.
I can also see the Raiders trading up too.
I think it's going to be Indy is going to be desperate enough to give them something more than they should, something along the lines of what Chicago did with San Francisco, that they're like, all right, we only have to move one spot down. We still got Anderson, and we gain 2 premium picks, you know.
Yeah. But you know, I don't have PFF. I don't have PFF Plus, so we can't trade the picks. So let's say they stay here.
Anderson.
I think they're going Anderson, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
If
They're
they
going
stay
Anderson.
Anderson.
All right. So yeah, for sure. Now we got the Indianapolis Colts. Now a lot of people are saying this draft is going to be the time where they finally get off the carousel. But what QB are they taking? Is it going to be Will Levis or AR-15?
I have a bad feeling it's AR.
But given the way his stock is rising, I think it's AR too.
It's going to be AR. There is a non-0% chance that Richardson goes to that goes second even. Like the fact that but I do really think he's going to be the third. I think Colts are going to get Richardson.
What a fucking rise in draft stock. Get this dude's head. So now the Seattle Seahawks are on the clock.
Jumping to, here's the thing. The Seahawks are in such a good scenario here. They can do whatever the hell they want. Now, they could trade this pick. If there's still one of the 4 quarterbacks is available, they could trade the pick. They could take Jalen Carter right here. They could take one of the best offense. They are in such a good position right here to do whatever the hell they want.
Yeah. If they're still right here, though, I do think this is where Jalen Carter goes. They do need interior line help, and Jalen Carter is the guy who is arguably one of the best players in the draft. I mean, I know he's got character issues. He showed up overweight to his pro day, and he was out of shape.
All that aside, I think they back Carroll enough to be like he can overcome that.
Yeah,
exactly. You know, like I think that they will give Carroll benefit of the doubt enough where it's like, no, take him there. I wouldn't be shocked if Carter drops. Like, don't get me wrong. I will not be shocked if he drops outside of the top 10 because of those character issues, because teams are worried about his character and turning up overweight, all the investigation going on right now. I wouldn't be shocked. But I think for right now, because like I also agree. I think Seahawks drop. I think they trade this pick. I think Cardinals and I think Seahawks both trade this pick. But right now I'm gonna, because we can't. I'll say Carter.
Yeah, I think if they stay here, I think they're going Carter.
Tyree Wilson's a possibility too because they could use an edge. But I lean towards Carter at this point.
Yeah, all right. Up next, the Detroit Lions via the LA Rams. Again, they can use some offensive weapons. They can use some defensive interior, but Carter's off the board in this case. Do they go corner though?
Yeah, Christian Gonzalez could be in the.
There is a voided corner now that Jeff Okuda's gone.
Yeah, Christian Gonzalez, I think, would be the most likely pick in this if they stay put.
See, I actually think it's Witherspoon.
It could be Witherspoon too.
What do you think, Jacob?
Yeah, I'm leaning towards Witherspoon. I think that's probably the most likely. I don't think they go quarterback. I'll be like, I think they're going to go one more year. They'll go one more year with Goff to just be like, no, let's see how he goes. And then if he doesn't make, if they suck, then cool, sweet, we can go back down and grab a quarterback. Like, I don't think, I doubt that they're going to grab a quarterback this year.
Yeah. All right. So we got Witherspoon going to the Lions. Up next, we got the Vegas Raiders. I think first of all, I think they trade up. I think they trade up to take a QB.
That very well could be the case. And so say they don't, and we still have Levis on the board right now.
Yeah, if say it shakes out like this and Levis on the board, they're taking Levis.
Yeah, they're gonna grab a quarterback. Even though they're gonna they'll back Jimmy Garoppolo this year. I think that's more out of loyalty than actually belief.
Yeah. Plus, they had Jimmy G, so he didn't start right away. He can develop. So I think Levis is a good landing spot. Hi, Bethany. Levis is a good landing spot in fucking Vegas. So going to the Falcons again. In our scenario, all the QBs are off the board.
Yeah.
So what do they do now?
I think
they address the skill positions, and I think they go Quentin Johnson.
Yeah, they go wide receiver. They need a wide receiver, and that's where I think they'll go. They need some weapons for their quarterback. So that's yeah.
Any disagreements, Mike?
I mean, is Quentin going to be the first wide receiver, or is it going to be Jackson?
Ooh, Njigba's a good one.
Yeah, I mean, ooh.
I'm still leaning towards Johnson going first, but that is a good point.
Yeah, I mean, I'm fine with putting with Johnson being the pick here, but if either one of them going over the other is not going to be a shock.
Yeah,
that's your 1 and 2 most likely.
All right, so we're going with Quentin Johnson. Chicago Bears. This pick's definitely got to be O-line.
Jumping for joy that they have their pick of the litter. I would assume it's Skoronski most likely.
I would agree. Yeah, I would agree with the Skoronski pick. Jacob.
Yeah, that's I think there's
Campbell.
a chance they go corner. I think there is a chance they go cornerback. Like I think there is a chance they get Gonzalez.
Ooh, Christian Gonzalez is tempting at this spot, but I think the line for the Bears is so much worse.
So bad. That's their biggest need.
Their biggest need. I think they kind of have to go trenches here.
Yeah.
All right, so we'll go Skoronski here. Up next, the Eagles. They can really take a luxury pick here.
I think that this is going to be there. We have not discussed this yet, but the elephant in the room that's going to be that on draft night is Bijan Robinson. And there is a chance that a team might try to trade with Chicago because they think Philly's going to take him.
Yeah. Bijan to Philly would be fucking dangerous.
So I think there is a pretty decent chance that if he's still there, that's who Philly takes.
What do you think, Jacob?
Yeah, I think a running back is kind of that's where I think Robinson's probably the right pick.
So you guys are both saying Bijan?
Somebody might try to leapfrog. I watch Chicago trading again because somebody might want to leap because they know the Eagles.
But who like if we could get up there, but that ain't happening.
Wait, who what?
The Bills. The Bills could get up there, but that ain't happening.
The Bills could trade up. I seriously doubt it. I don't think Chicago trades down that far.
Right.
That's my thing.
That's the thing. Like maybe instead of getting
the Patriots don't really need a running back though. Like the running back needy teams are like in down there. So unless the Bills want to trade up, unless Chicago trades down and trades up again.
Well, Chicago. Just say, for example, that they trade with the Bills. The Bills would have to give up another one to get that high. They'd have to give, obviously the years and next year's. So if Chicago's willing to do that,
the Bills could use Bijan. They really could.
Yes, they can.
But again, like in this scenario, you're both saying Bijan.
Yeah, I think so.
Yep.
All right, Bijan, number 10. The Titans. I think this is a team that definitely takes a wide receiver. O-line's a tempting one too.
Do they get desperate though, and do they do the panic pick and take Hooker?
Oh, that's a good one too. Do they panic and take Hooker?
That's my thing. Like, how desperate are they? Because look, realistically, they trade up. They're trading up to try and get one of these.
I agree.
They're absolutely they're calling the Cardinals right now and begging them for that pick. I think that's where they're at right now. I think they do. I think they have seen enough of Malik Willis to go. We need a quarterback, and
If
one
it-
is falling into their hands right now, even if he's not perfect.
And he's not playing this year, probably.
Probably not.
No,
But do
but-
they go O line though? Do they go? So I think we're saying like O line, wide receiver, quarterback.
Yeah.
yeah,
So do they take Njigba? Do they go? They take Njigba. They go Zay Flowers.
I mean,
They-
at this
they-
point, Njigba's the best one of. That's who I would.
yeah. Like if you're gonna get
That'd be
if they are gonna go wide receiver, which I don't think they will, but if they do, Jackson's who they get. They have
Yeah.
to go
Mhm.
Jackson.
Njigba, I would agree. All right, back to Houston again. Fish in a barrel. They can basically take anything and be seen as reasonable.
Tyree Wilson's a steal right now.
Yeah. Do they go?
Yeah.
I mean, yeah. Edges. Do they go Tyree Wilson?
Yeah.
Yep.
I feel like they would want it. It's like in the scenario where they get Stroud. I feel like they would want Njigba. Reunite him from college. But he's already off the board, so I would
Off
say
the
so.
board.
Tyree Wilson.
Yeah.
All right, going Tyree Wilson. Jets.
It's gonna either be Broderick Jones or Paris Campbell.
I feel like if I'm sorry, that's the wrong button. I feel like if not fucking no. Hold on. There we go. I feel like if Johnson's on here, they're going Johnson.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Paris
Yeah.
Johnson. Yeah.
Paris
Paris Johnson or Skaronski, Johnson, or Jones is going to the Jets. One of those three will wind up in New York. There's very little doubt in my mind on that.
Agreed. So going to the Patriots, I definitely think it's a team that would take a wide receiver.
Yeah,
It's-
I think they need a wide receiver. So yeah, I think they would be definitely looking at grabbing a wide receiver.
So we're going what? Zay Flowers. Zay
I
Flowers,
like-
Jordan Addison.
Addison, I could see them taking actually. In
Or
this.
do they do the Patriots thing and trade out of the first round entirely?
That's also another possibility.
Look. Right now, the 14th pick for Flowers is high.
Yeah.
Like
That's my thing. Like,
That-
do they reach for a wide receiver or trade out?
You trade out to somebody who needs an offensive tackle and grab.
yeah, that's what I think you do. I think you go, hey Bengals, what do you want?
Mm-hmm.
That's fair. But say that right here. So right now we have them reaching for a wide receiver.
No, I'm actually going to say if they stay, Lucas Van Ness is still on the board. I think that's who
Ooh.
the Patriots
Not
will
bad
take.
actually. Lucas Van
Yeah,
Ness, I can agree with that. All right, Patriots. Sorry, excuse me. Packers are on the clock.
Gonzalez
like
is still on the
Imagine
board.
this is going to take a wide receiver.
That'd be funny, but not with what's available right this minute.
No.
I like Christian Gonzalez
safety?
here.
What are the best safeties available right now? Let's see.
Branch, right? Brian Branch is supposed to
Yeah,
be. the
Brian
number one.
Branch is probably your best bets. Bit of a reach at 15, but not too bad.
I've seen him going, in some mocks as high as 11, so I don't think it's that much of a reach.
Brian Branch, they could go tight end, Dalton Kincaid, or
Kincaid would be a good fit for Jordan Love, honestly.
or Michael Mayer.
Mm.
I don't know. What do we think, Jacob? What do you think?
Yeah, I'm gonna go the safety. I think that's
I
what they
agree.
need.
Brian Branch.
Brian Branch, yeah.
Yep.
We'll give him Brian Branch here. All right. We got the newly owned Washington Commanders.
They're gonna want to make a splash.
Yeah.
New owner, big splash. I wouldn't be surprised if this is either a wide receiver or a cornerback or something like some
Hooker.
big skill
Hooker's
position.
on the board.
Hooker is on the board. As far as cornerbacks, they could go Christian Gonzalez
That's
or Joey Porter Jr.
Oof. I think the Commander thing would be Porter Jr.
It sounds like him, right?
What about a tight end because they got a kid
Kincaid.
at
Kincaid?
quarterback? I mean,
That's possible. Possible. Kincaid or Michael Mayer.
Yeah, I'm just thinking because look, we all see what Travis Kelce does. I'm just seeing copycat league. A lot of these kids, they might be like, "Oh, we've got a kid. We've got to put him in, get him a tight end." But like,
Right.
so I'm gonna say a tight end. I'm gonna say Kincaid.
I'm
Kincaid?
okay with that.
All right, Kincaid. Okay, now we have the Steelers 17. I'll take point on this one
All
because
right.
here's what scares me about this pick. In this scenario, Joey Porter Jr. is still on the board. And I know if he's on the board at 17, the Steelers will 100% take him, which I think is a fucking mistake.
I would say there's one more offensive. Darnell Wright would be a smart pick for them right here.
Well, no, the one that I want is I wouldn't mind Darnell Wright. I think Broderick Jones is being like a little bit shafted.
I didn't even realize Broderick Jones is still there. Broderick Jones.
I like Broderick Jones at 17. That's who I would take if I'm Pittsburgh.
He's still on the board, yeah.
Which is why I'm praying somebody takes Joey Porter Jr. away from us. Again, I like Joey Porter Jr. And if we can get him at 32, I'd be fine. Not 17, which isn't happening. So again, since we control the board, I'm saying Broderick Jones.
Yeah, no, I completely forgot Broderick was on the board. I might have actually put him to Washington if I had realized that.
I think they would go corner or tight end instead of tackle. But yeah, so Broderick Jones.
Like I said, I just think Washington want to make a big splash. I wouldn't be surprised if they trade up and try and grab somebody. Like I think they're going to be making a big splash on draft day.
Yeah. So the Lions. Wow, I'm surprised Christian Gonzalez is still on the board in this scenario.
They take him here easy.
At this point, they grab him. Like
they already took a corner though. They already took a corner.
So what? You
Load up again, Christian Gonzalez.
Look, they don't need offense. Their defense is their biggest problem. They're going to load up on defense.
So you guys saying Gonzalez?
Yeah.
All right, put Gonzalez here. All right. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Michael Mayer is like not a bad pick here. I think Kalijah Cansey's like reasonable. I mean, again, I could see Darnell Wright's another one. Michael, Mike, what do you think?
They might go offensive line here. Like they had a fairly putrid offensive line. Wright would be a good fit for them.
Jacob, what say you?
Yeah, they need to go O line.
All right, so you're saying Wright?
Yep.
All right, right. All right, Seattle back on the clock. I think offensive interior is a big need for them. Only thing is they have to reach a little bit for somebody here.
It's a bit of reaching. So again, they'll trade down if they at this point. That's where they would trade out of the first.
But do they go Kalijah Cansey or Brian Breesy to like shore up that defensive interior even more?
Cansey's the pick at this point, I assume. So
if we do look, given we can't do trades, yes, but
there's going to be a lot of trades. There's going to be a lot of trades, I think.
Yeah,
I would think so. So saying Cansey.
Yeah, I like Cansey.
All right. Again, Dolphins forfeited their pick, so we're back to the Los Angeles Chargers.
This one is tight end.
Really? You think so? You think Michael Mayer?
The only other one I can think of. Look, okay. Then Cam Akers is playing for them. Not Akers.
Austin Eckler.
Eckler's playing for them this year. They're not getting traded, so I don't think they're going to need a running back. I think they need some more weapons for Hurts.
What about Zay Flowers here?
My brain's just Herbert.
I think Flowers already off the board. Didn't he go to New England? Oh, he did. And Zay Flowers is still here.
I don't know if they're going to grab a wide receiver though, but I mean, given the freaking injuries, yeah, they might.
I would say corner because J.C. Jackson did not pan out last season.
So Joey Porter here.
I actually think Deonte Banks goes ahead of him.
Yeah, I mean, I'm fine with that. They go defensive instead. Yeah.
Yeah, I think Deontay Banks is a sensible pick here. Either that or Zay Flower, but I would still go with Deontay Banks.
Yeah, roll with it.
All right. Ravens.
Interesting here.
Yeah. They could go edge. I could see him taking Nolan Smith here if he's on the board.
This is all going to come down to, do they believe they're keeping Lamar? If they are, absolutely Flowers. They're going to grab themselves a wide receiver because they know we're keeping Lamar. It's going to be a bit of a reach, absolutely, but I could see Flowers being who they pick because they need a wide receiver.
Zay Flowers.
So. Yeah.
All right, go Zay Flowers. Minnesota Vikings defense, definitely defense.
Defense, absolutely defense. Has to be.
Is this where Joey Porter Jr. goes in this scenario?
Yeah, I'm going to say that.
Is Joey Porter Jr., Brian Breesy, or Nolan Smith? It's one of those three.
Yeah, they probably need Porter the most out of those three players. I'd go Porter.
All right, Porter. Let's go. All right, we'll go Porter. All right, Jacksonville Jaguars.
I don't like Nolan Smith here.
I like Nolan Smith here too.
Yeah.
All right, we'll go Nolan Smith. Giants. Now, here's the thing. I think they maybe more than any team would desperately need a wide receiver. All I think they'd have to reach.
Yeah, they're going to trade up, but right now, let's just say Addison because I think
Addison right now, yeah.
Yeah.
Addison. Dallas Cowboys. I feel like they want Bijan Robinson. I don't know if they get him though.
Wouldn't that be a big FU if they traded with Chicago?
For right now, I think where they're sitting now, who's on the board? I think they go Brian Breesy.
I'm fine with that pick. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm fine with that.
All right, Brian Breesy, it is. All right, Bills on the clock. Jacob, I'll cede the floor to you because you are the resident Bills fan here.
Look, they need defense. So because look, they need a running back, but they're not going to get a running back. So they need to go defense, and so I'd be going Miles Murphy.
Yeah, right. That's fair.
I'm fine with them getting an edge. I think that's who they need to get. If they could trade up for Robinson, great, but I don't think they're going to be able to. So,
all right, so we'll go Miles Murphy here. All right, Cincinnati Bengals. I feel like if Anton Harrison's is on the board here, they take him.
Yeah, that's fair.
Mostly because I don't think Lyle Collins is on the team anymore, is he?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so Lyle Collins did not work out. They need somebody to flank Orlando Brown Jr. So I think Anton Harrison's the pick.
Mm-hmm.
All right, Saints on the clock after the trade with Denver.
I kind of like Mayer here.
Mayer's not bad. I could think Mayer sounds sensible.
Yeah.
All right, Michael Mayer.
Get something for what's his name for who'd they just grab?
For Derek Carr.
Derek Carr, Jesus.
All right, Michael Mayer. All right, Eagles on the clock. Definitely try to shore up the defense a little bit. I think because linebackers are a pretty big weak spot for them because both their starters left in free agency. Do they reach for somebody? It's a bit of a reach. So do they go defensive interior? Do they go corner? Do they go safety?
Probably go. I mean, because they lost Gardner Johnson, so
that's a reach. Safety's a reach at 30 though.
This could be
realistically they trade down. I think they trade. I think they trade down because it is a bit of a reach and yeah.
Maybe Torrance. They could always get the depth on the offensive line.
Osiris Torrance at 30, it's not a colossal reach.
Yeah.
No.
All right, so Osiris Torrance.
Yeah.
And then finally the Chiefs.
Who's the best wide receiver right now?
Who is the best receiver on the board? Josh Downs.
They might do it.
Yeah. For argument's sake, let's do it. But no way in hell they keep this pick.
Probably true.
Because it's either that or what? Mazzy Smith.
Yeah, they probably trade down a little bit for somebody. This could be where Hooker gets eventually snagged up. You know,
So Josh Downs.
yeah.
All right. We have our official collective first round.
But
Let's
it's not going to look
good.
anything like this with the trades.
No,
See what-
it's not.
Oh man, we can't get graded.
Full
Boo.
results.
Yeah.
Scroll up.
Hold on. Yes. See full results. It just shows the picks again. Yeah. It is. Yes. Well, damn you, PFF, for making me buy your service to get graded. But yeah, that is our official mock draft. Will the first round look like this? Probably not.
No, it will not.
But
I'm guessing at least 4 first round trades.
we
Well,
will.
I think there's going to be a few more than that.
We will be around to react to all that because we will be streaming the first round of the draft live on April 27th. Mike and I will be there. Jacob will not, but we will have a great revolving door of guests to come in and react, and we will all each do our own first round mock draft with trades, with trying to figure out who goes where. But yeah, that is how we're gonna do it. We're gonna go over all that before the live stream starts. We'll see who gets the most correct answers. But that's gonna do it for us. Jacob, anything I'll plug before you head out?
You guys can just find me over on the Lights on the Screen podcast and at my Facebook, Twitter, everything at Jacob London.
All right. Mike, plug before you head out.
Yeah. You can always find me here and on what show on Wednesday nights. This week we are going to be doing a special called Music to Be Buried With. And we also will be doing for our fantasy football league in 2 weeks. We have our movie-related draft to establish our draft order, which we will be taking place in 2 weeks. We are each going to be assigned a summer movie release, and the draft order is going to be based on the box office results. So that'll be a fun little thing to track.
You can find my Twitter @ChanceWars_91. Check out the right here. Russ and I'll be back with content this week. Just shows didn't work out, so we'll be reviewing everything everywhere all at once this week, as well as coming back with another live stream. And yeah, that's going to do it for us here. Thank you for watching, and we will see you next time.